Alright guys, welcome back. So one of the main topics right now is what to play. With the most recent video that I posted, I completely discarded the Dawnwalker package and favored the Psi-Reflector package because essentially they do the same thing, right? And on paper, this package has a bit more synergy with the deck itself, right? Especially the way it's constructed because of the allures. It's a tuner. It's a level 1. It just has a lot of attributes that just favor it much more than the Walker engine. But one of the issues is that you have to play one more Garnet, and it utilizes your normal summon, which is a bit conflicting because Junk Synchron kind of wants to have that slot filled for himself, right? Like that's what Junk Synchron wants. Whereas the Dawnwalker favors Junk, right? It's not greedy with its normal summon. You discard any card, special summon it, set up your grave, and it's very simplistic, right? It's no complexity to it. It's just basically like straightforward. Whereas this package, you have like a bit of utility with what comes along with it, right? You have the teleport engines, right, which recently came back to 3, which is insane, and then you have 1 for 1. So in a way, if you draw this portion of the engine, you're fine, but that's not always the case, right? Because sometimes you hard open these and you're like, I have a Junk in my hand and I have a Psi-Reflector in my hand. Like, what do I do? And of course, to mitigate that, you have the converter, which works really well with this because you can just pitch this to search a Junk Synchron or a Star Synchron, or it's lowered away. So taking that into account, I guess it varies, you know, like on paper, once again, this seems a bit more favorable because it just works so well with the deck. But I think the fact that it utilizes your normal summon is where it's kind of like a bit like, oh, I don't know, man, like, because you can't have too many normal summons. Because as it is, like, worst case scenario, you want to normal summon your starter synchron, right? Worst case scenario. And then, like, Junk Synchron is always going to be there. Like, you can't, you know, like, you can't special it unless you special it off overtake. But that doesn't the fact, like, if you open up Junk Synchron, it's like, it's not a good feeling, right? That's like, I don't know. And then that's where Dawnwalker shines, right? But, as many of you know, this card is just glued to my hand. It's always there. It's unnatural the amount of times this has been there. Like, I guess I gotta take the good with the bad, but still, it doesn't justify the amount of times this has been in my hand, and it's just so annoying, and that just makes me not want to play this package. Strictly for that reason, it's a subjective perspective, right? Because like I always draw it, so I'm gonna be inclined to like cut it because of that particular reason. Whereas some of you might not even see this at all, and you're like, oh, I love this package, you know. But it's not like we haven't tried them together, right? Like, they work well together because this card gives you a discard for him. No pun intended, right? So basically, what this does, this searches your beast, right? And then you pitch your beast, you search this, reveal, special, right? And that's the good thing about this engine as well. It can be a bit versatile with the levels. So like something I mentioned before is like you can make a Trishula. If you open up this in Caligo, that's Trishula because you can just, you know, tune on tuners and yeah, it's working really well. And then anyways, then after the fact, you don't really need to have any use for this, so you can just discard this for the Walker. And assuming you initiated this sequence with the teleport, you haven't used your normal summon. So that means Junk loves that. Like, tunings love that because you can search Junk and then just try to progress your game state. Try to progress your combo, right? Because more often than not, you're going to initiate your turn with a Chaos Ruler play and go off from there. But, I don't know. It's just being a normal summon. It's annoying. But once again, like, that's why you play the converters, right? You play the converters to like get these out of your hand. You play the allures to allure these away because you want to dig into the teleport instead of the normal summon. But it's it's so frustrating because they both have like their strengths and they both obviously have their weaknesses. Whereas like this one in particular loses to a bit more hand traps. Like it loses to Ash, Imp, and Veiler. Whereas this one strictly only loses to Ash. Because by the time you summon the ant, right? Of course they'll just interact with the Chaos Ruler. But the fact that you can just go have 2 resources that can work quite well with your Caligo, your Doppel Warrior, and your Junk Converter, because you can just normal summon this and make a Baroness, revive the tuner, trigger Doppel. You know, you can do that with this one, but if they have the Imperm or the Veiler on the initial effect, then you're not gonna get this, and you're not gonna get this. You know, so it's a bit more vulnerable to interactions, which is another counter argument, right? But what do you guys think? What do you guys feel, right? Because we're adding 2 bricks. You're compensating 2 bricks. You're compensating a bit of consistency because the teleports, the 1-for-1, for a bit more versatility. But like, is it worth it? Is the real question. Because I just listed all the reasons why they should be in favor, right? Because it has much more synergy, way more synergy with the deck. But why does it feel like it's not the right choice? You know what I mean? It just doesn't seem like it's the right choice. It just makes it really weird. And I still don't have a real answer. Like it just comes down to preference. Like I mentioned before, we can just still play both these together because they do work well together. But then I don't want to like dilute the deck itself, right? Because the whole point at the end of the day is trying to get to these, trying to set this in the grave, have the junk set up, have Caligo set up, have Doppel access. So you don't want to deviate from that objective, right? Because the more cards you fill in, like the more of these cards you're gonna have to, like, I guess, inherently see. Like if the ruler mill, you'll see more of this engine as well because it's implemented. Same thing with this. Like you'll see some of these, and I don't know. It's just so frustrating. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's just I'm just constantly testing it. And I just want to just get the discussion out there because I made a video with this comparing Dawnwalker and Quick Draw as well. But this time it's just one of those like, which one's better? Which one do you feel is better? Because I know these are pretty pricey. These got reprinters, so they're not expensive at all. Same thing with the reflectors, not expensive. Whereas this is more expensive. This is a bit more budget, but they essentially do the same thing in their own way, you know. But what do you guys think, man? What do you think? Oh my god, I'm so frustrated. That's gonna be it. Hopefully, enjoy the video. Like, subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching.